So as a lot of people would know, I have been a helicopter pilot for over 20 years, and I've flown lots of different types of helicopters, and I'm fairly proficient in that. I mean, everybody seems to walk away from my crashes, so I can't be too bad. But I've never done 1 minute of instruction in fixed wing aircraft. Normally people do it the other way around. They do fixed wing first because it can be a little cheaper, a little easier, and then they migrate on to helicopters. So I'm doing it back to front. And my instructor here, Roger, has never done any helicopter flying, so he was kind of interested to see what I knew and didn't know when it came to flying fixed wing. And there's a lot to learn, you know. As soon as I jumped in, well, I understand the basic principles of flight, and a lot of the instruments are the same. There's more that I don't know than what I know. Starting with even moving down the taxiway and braking with the rudder pedals. This is something completely new to me. And managing the throttle as well. You know, in a helicopter, the helicopter manages the throttle generally for you with a governor. So it was all very new, and I was very much like a first-time pilot. But still, a lot of fun. And a little nerve-wracking as well. I was even so excited and nervous I forgot to wear my aviator sunglasses. Rookie mistake. So we headed out on my initiation flight, and I really didn't think I'd be doing that much flying, but as it turns out I did all the flying, pretty much. Roger put his hands on the controls from time to time, but generally I did it myself, which meant for a very wobbly flight, because in helicopters generally the surfaces, you know, the control surfaces, is just a very light touch, often just a pressure. You don't do much movement at all. But in a small aircraft like this Piper, the control surfaces are moved in rather a gross way. You know, you're really pulling back on the yoke, you're really turning the wheel. And here we go for my takeoff, and you can see I'm like a bit of a drunken sailor as I go down the runway. More right rudder, and he says, right, pull in the yoke, rotate, and I pull in a little bit and it doesn't do anything, so I pull in more, and off we go. What Roger said was interesting about my flying was that there was a lot I could do well, like I held headings and altitude perfectly, which student pilots generally don't do. But I also tended to fly a little bit like a helicopter, that is, in even my first turns, I was turning a 30 or 40 degree bank angle, which is common in a helicopter, but not so common in a fixed wing with a student. You know, a first time student would be a little bit more cautious and turn sort of a 10 or 20 degree turn. And by the way, for those of you that are pilots and want to know where we're flying out of, it's BDR in Bridgeport, Connecticut, and we flew up to Tweed, New Haven, and then back again. The other big change I noticed with the fixed wing is that it pretty much can fly itself. So long as it's correctly trimmed and there's not a lot of turbulence, it'll just cruise along the sky, unlike a helicopter, whereas if you took your hands off the cyclic even for a second, it's pretty catastrophic. So the added stability makes for a somewhat relaxing flight. But it was a lot of fun, and landing also a completely new experience. Once again, you know, flaps is a new thing to me. Throttle management to a certain extent is a new thing to me. You know, in a helicopter you tend to land under full power because the helicopter's having to arrest both its speed and altitude, so you're pulling a lot of power in the helicopter, whereas of course in a fixed wing you're dropping the power all the way down. In a helicopter you tend to always be able to land into the wind, so landing crosswind like we were today was a completely new experience for me as well, and so I had to learn to crab a little bit, and so landing was incredibly wobbly, but you know, we got down, it wasn't too bad. And yeah, it's just a very different experience in a helicopter. A lot of fun indeed. I really look forward to continuing my education with fixed wing aircraft, and I'm going to be taking you guys along for the ride, and obviously doing some more helicopter videos very shortly for those of you that enjoy my helicopter reviews. So yeah, that's something new on the channel, is a little bit of flying as well. A lot of fun learning to be a fixed wing pilot. I hope you guys will join me and we'll have a bit of fun.